Big Al.
Hello everybody, it's Big Al with some more content for Lord of the Rings Rise to War. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Smash the like button on my videos if you've learned anything, if you like the content. Also, now there is memberships as well, which will get special content, early views on the videos, different videos contoured just to the members only. You can also tip me with the thanks button and hit hype on the videos as well. That helps out as well so I get more recognition from YouTube. So, now let's start the video. On this video I am going to cover some basics, some terminology, some anatomy, some mechanics on the game. I know for some of the newer players the terminology used from the experienced players can be a little bit difficult and they don't understand it and they're afraid to ask. Other things are just simple things we need to know. So I'm going to start with the anatomy of gear. Okay, it doesn't matter what kind of item it is, the anatomy is the same. And what I mean by that is you have the title Sandclaw for this particular item. Underneath it, it says Commander Damage. That is the ability of the item. So you have Commander Damage, you have Command, and you have Hit Points. Those are the abilities of the item. Then you have the stats, and the stats are the unit attack, unit defense, commander attack, commander focus, commander initiative, commander defense. Those are the stats. Under that, you have divide and conquer on this specific piece. Those are the set effects. And that's all the set effects. Thick armor, sharp blade, perseverance, Lord of Arcane are the examples. So it's important when somebody's talking about the stats, you know which section they're talking about, or the set effect, or the ability. So on the abilities, the only ones that will have commander damage are weapons of all colors and then some gold accessories. And the gold accessories are like the Palantir, the gold pipe, the drums of Barad-dûr, there's the signet ring. I know I'm missing something. But those are the only ones that have commander damage. You can also have command on weapons as well. Excuse me. On helmets, you can have command or you can have hit points. On armor, you will only ever have hit points, no matter what kind of armor it is. And then with the accessories, you can have hit points, command, or commander damage. So there is the anatomy of items. Some terminology, some basics. Now I'm going to go into the units, and we're going to talk about units for a couple minutes. So when you go into a unit and you look at it, I'm going to start with the Guardians. Okay, up here, that little icon will tell you what kind of race it is. And there's different races: dwarf, human, elves, evil men, orcs, urukai. So you can always tell by looking at the icon. They all have different pictures, or you can click on it. The one next to it tells you the size of the unit. And as you can see, each size has a different icon, different logo. Each size also has a counter. Like smalls are countered by medium units, but smalls counter large units. Medium units are countered by large units. Medium units counter small units. And what that means is medium units will do extra damage to small units, but the medium units will take extra damage from large units. So you can check to see what the size is. And it's not always custom obvious, because generally horses are medium units. Well, also there's a couple others, like half trolls are considered medium units. So that way you're always look at them. The next, you have your stats area. The supply, okay, is right here. Small units, most of them take 1, some of them take 2. And then your large units will take 25 and things like that. So there's a different supply. And what that means is it's based off of 100. So on a supply for Guardians, I will have 100 Guardians for each supply. Now with, say, let's go up to Fell Beasts. Their supply is 20. So I will have 5 Fell Beasts equal 100 supply. Now, here's another thing to look at is right here on the first skill. I believe it's on the first skill on every unit, but it tells you if it's a melee unit or a ranged unit. See right here, you got a bow, you got a sword, melee, ranged. And generally when you're lining up an army, your melee units are in front and your ranged are behind them. The majority of attacks will hit melee units before ranged units. There are a couple units that specifically prioritize attacks on ranged, like Dunedain and snipers. So we talked about the size, we talked about supply, talked about what they are. Now you have different skills. Each unit is going to have different skills, so it's important to read these skills when you're picking your units, because like certain ones that will have taunt, provoke, or protect, those are units for your tanks. Okay, because remember, tanks are built to take damage, so you want the ones that are going to draw more attacks to them on your tanks. So every unit is different. It is important to read these skills. Next, you have right here where it says conscription difficulty very hard. This is going to tell you how much grain it takes, how much other resources, and it also tells you the time that it's going to take to conscript 100 supply. So with these war chariots, they have each war chariot is 25 supply. So you are going to get 4 war chariots for 100 supply. So it will take you 8 minutes and 57 seconds to build 4 war chariots. And the time varies. So that one said very hard. This one is normal. And if you see, the resources are a lot less, the time is a lot less. I'm going to show you this because look, there's a different icon. These are orcs. Okay. Siege. Siege ranking is important. This will give you the list. SS is the best all the way to D. Okay. March speeds. Those are less important. Initiative does become important later on in your journey. It's not crucial the first few seasons you play, because ultimately you're just trying to put whatever you can together to be able to fight and play the game. So there's the anatomy of the units. Now let's go into the commanders. Each commander is different. It has different races. As you can see here is a mayor. You have Dane, that's a dwarf. You have Sauron, that's a mayor. You have Boromir, that's a man. This does matter on some skills. You have your ascension bar. Okay, here's one thing to show you. If you ever says waiting ascension, that means he can't get any higher respect unless you pay these items to level him up. So he starts as an epic. I ascended him to legendary. Now I could ascend him to mythic if I wanted to. And I'll show you the stats that he's going to get increased if I do ascend him to mythic. You have to be mythic to be able to build your relic item. Not all commanders are worth ascending. Now I'm going to go to Saruman. As you can see, he is respect level 6. If you click this button up here, it's going to tell you what stats are going to be increased if he goes to respect 7. So he'll gain 3 skill points, and then unit damage for his formation will go up to 10%. Now, let me see. I think I have a 7 somewhere. I don't, but I'll go to him. So he is respect 5. And at 6, this will increase his base stats for attack, defense, and focus. And it does change slightly, but pretty much every even number increases the stats. Odd number is something like skill points and unit damage. So there's that. Now let me show you an army. Okay, and I'm going to show you this army since he just died and I have to refill him. So when you're looking at this as a whole, this is the army. Now when people say a formation, what a formation is, Frodo and the Great Beast, that is a formation. You have 4 formations to an army. And this is very important to learn. And a lot of people from 1.0, we have an issue where when we talk about the whole army, we'll say the formation, but that is the wrong terminology. There's 4 formations to an army, so each formation is the commander and the unit. And this is also a perfect time to show you forts. Okay, this is another thing that people do not realize. So once you have it upgraded past level 3, you can put troops into it using transport. I do have videos showing you how to transport, the best methods for that, the best commanders for that. But if you see, I have 12,000 of 12,000 troops stored inside my fort. Underneath it, it shows there's 2 of 6 armies inside the barracks, inside the fort. Now, if I click the arrows by the troops, it's going to show you exactly what troops you have in there. So I can recall and send some of these home if I wanted to. Obviously, I don't want to because those are the troops I'm using. Now, if you hit the arrows where it says 2 of 6, it goes into a screen just like your barracks inside of your base. So I can change troops if I want to. Okay, I have Grapes. Oh, well, I'd want to put Great Beast on him too. I can change the troops I want. They will suffer recuperation, just like if you took them off in your barracks. But this is the way you can change troops. I can put Wozels on Gandalf and Iron Chariots on Sauron if I wanted to. Same as inside of your barracks. The other thing I can do is I can change commanders. Again, this is going to suffer recuperation, but I'm not going to finalize it. So I can put Boromir here. He's already positioned in an army. That's okay because I want to move him to this army. And then you would go about building him the same as you would in your barracks. I'm going to cancel this out. Another thing that you can do inside of forts when they are leveled up is you can conscript units. See, I can sit here, and as long as you have the resources and the room inside your barracks, I can conscript. Oh, those are Wozels. That's limit reached. I can conscript the units that I want. And it's the same as if you were building them inside of your base, in your barracks. This just gives you more slots to build. So I am going to, perfect, I'm going to do both of those for 2 minutes. So I'm going to show you here. Oh, it doesn't show. Well, this is my regular barracks in my base. I'm building eagles, great beasts, war chariots, and fell beasts inside my base. I don't have 2 empty slots, but if I look here, I am conscripting the 2. Well, it's not going to show because they're dead. But if I go back into it, it will. So that's all the things you can do inside of a fort. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? We talked about the anatomy of gear, units, talked about the fort. A couple other things. Let's talk about the market. This is very important beginning of season. You want to level up your market. So if you click on the sign, you will see you get different things per which level your market is. You obviously want it as high as you can. Well, when you start out, you're getting 40% on when you barter. So say 100 stone would only get me 40 pieces of grain. Now, because my market is leveled up, I get a lot better exchange rate. I get 100 pieces of stone would get me 78 pieces of grain. This is very important to level up. And there's a couple ways to do that. One of the things that once you have your gear set up to where you are using only gold and purples, go ahead and recycle your blue and green gear. And you can do this, and you can hit filter so it only shows that color gear by clicking that. And it will give you right here silver ignates and gold ignates. And that's how you level up your market, is by spending. You can also exchange gold ignates for silver. So at the beginning, you're only going to have a couple items that you can buy, a couple speed ups that you can buy. But you want to do that on your first day because it's important to get your market leveled up, because you are going to need the extra items that come with the first few levels of leveling your market. You are going to need the better exchange rate for the resources when you are bartering. So you want to buy the items. You could just go in here and use the silver ignates to upgrade this way, but that's not really the best way to do it because you're not getting anything in return. Yes, you're leveling up your market, but you're not buying the speed ups that are going to be useful throughout the season, or the healing speed ups, the gathering items, things like that. And you want to do that very early on when you start. Within your first few hours, you want to get that leveled up. That way you get those more items when the day clicks over to the second day. We are going to go into buildings. This is very important. Different campaigns have different rules. Okay. Well, you can change your settlement style if you want, but once these are all built, as you can see, I can do a reconstruct. Say I want to, okay, just in case I mess up, let me find that one. Reconstruct. Say I wanted this Rohirrim quarters. If you hit reconstruct, it will cost me a relocate token, but I would change my Uruk quarters to a Rohirrim quarters, and it would be at the same level. And you can do that as many tokens as you want, but I believe you can only change quarters once a day. You can also do this advanced, and what the advanced is you make it an elite quarters, meaning that would unlock these snagas for me. And you are limited on how many you can have advanced. I believe it's 2, but for some reason I'm thinking you can actually do it 3 times. So that is something important to know. Let's see, what else do I need to say for the basics and terminology? I think that's pretty much about it. Oh, some people are gonna laugh at this, but I am 100%, I mean this. This is something very important. When people say guard, that you need to guard a tile, it's not just standing on the tile. This bottom button here on a commander, the one that looks like a shield, is the guard button. And what that does is it will guard every tile touching the one you're standing on that is owned by yourself or your fellowship. So any green or blue tile you can guard. And that's what people mean when guard. Not just stand on it, guard. So I think that pretty much sums up this video for terminology, anatomy. I hope it was educational for a lot of the newcomers. And even us experienced guys, we need to get better at some of the terminology because we still use the terminology from 1.0, which honestly confuses some of the newer players that don't know 1.0. So that's where we need to get better too as the experienced players. So that's all I got. So as always, make the most out of what you got.